Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will be going to dive into a real world SQL problem, something that actually happens in the e-commerce and fintech industries all the time. We will learn how to detect the duplicate payment transaction that could be due to user error, API failure, or retry error that causes the credit card to charge twice for the same purchase. Let's see how we can identify and count such repeated payment using the SQL. So the here the input table, which is a transaction input table, we have given the merchant ID, credit card ID, the amount, and the transaction timestamp, and we need to find the repeated transaction which are done by the same merchant ID, credit card ID, and the amount in the time frame of 10 minutes. In the time frame of 10 minutes, we need to find how many transactions have taken place which satisfy these conditions. So my approach to this problem would be, like, here, to find the time frame done by the same merchant ID, credit card ID, and the amount also should be same, and the transaction timestamp should be between 10 minutes. So we need to have another one column here, virtual column, which will be storing the previous timestamp. This we can do with the help of lag window function, so that we will getting the previous timestamp which is done by the same merchant ID, credit card ID, and the amount. So for example, in the first record we will be not having any previous ID because it's the first, and in the second, because of the merchant ID, credit card ID, and the amount is same, we will be getting one transaction timestamp which will be this, and this we can do with the help of the lag window function. So in this solution, we will be using a common table expression, and we will be using the window functions, and we will be using the aggregate functions like count, and we will be using time functions for extracting the minute, converting to minute and all. So before writing the main query, which will be containing the CT with only the difference between the transaction timestamp and only the merchant ID, it will be better helpful for understanding the core idea if we write the intermediate query, which will be containing the transaction timestamp and the previous stamp, and by visualizing that output, it will be very clear for us to write the main query. So let's write the intermediate query in the SQL. So I will be selecting everything, and then I will be lag of transaction timestamp, and over I will be partition by a merchant ID, credit card ID, and the amount, because we need all equal. And then I will be ordering it by a transaction timestamp, so that when we do the lag, we will getting the correct timestamp, and I will be renaming it as previous timestamp from transaction. So here we can see that we are getting the previous timestamp. So in the first record we are getting the null because we don't have the previous record, and for the records which are having the same merchant ID, credit card ID, and the amount, we are getting the previous timestamp. Like, for example, here we are getting the timestamp of this, and here we are getting the null because the amounts are different, and when we uh, change from one credit card to another credit card, because we don't have previous record, that's why we are getting the null. So from this query, we can easily find the next we can easily understand the main query, which will find the difference between the transaction timestamp and the previous timestamp. And at last we will write a select query which will count the transaction only where the difference is 10 minutes. Difference is 10 minutes. So I will be writing the main query now. I will be writing the common table CTE as I will be selecting the merchant ID, and I will be extracting epoch from this. Epoch helps us to find the difference in the timestamp in the seconds, but we need to find it in the minutes. So after extracting, we will be dividing it by 60, which will convert to it into minutes. So epoch extraction from transaction timestamp, and then I will be finding the lag of transaction timestamp over over partition by all the three. I will be ordering it by transaction timestamp, and I will be getting after this statement. I will be getting the difference in the timestamp in the terms of seconds, but I need in the time in the minute. So I will be dividing it by 60, and I will be renaming as minute difference. Minute difference from transaction. So let me see the payments whether it is correct or not. So we are getting like, see here the minute difference is like, for example, uh, 8 is the minute difference, and here manually we can count also here, 1, then 2, 3, 4. So there are the 4 transactions which are done within the span of 10 with the same merchant ID, credit card ID, the amount. So let's like write the final select statement, selecting count of merchant ID as payment count from payments, where the minute difference is smaller than or equal to 10 minutes. So if we run this query, so we will be getting the payment count as 4, and if we submit, uh, this is accepted, and that's it. This is how we can detect the repeated payment transaction using SQL, a simple yet powerful solution for the real world problem for finding the repeated payments. This kind of logic is especially important in the fraud detection, payment reconciliation, and also in the customer compliant resolution system. If you found this video helpful, make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more real world SQL use cases queries. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, keep learning and keep coding. Thank you.